Character choices might just be one of the most important elements in a screenplay. Choices combine philosophical conflict, structure, and character arc into a single key story moment. Succeed at character choice, and you have a gripping, powerful, and unforgettable story. Fail at choice, and the audience will feel cheated. In this video, I'll present a scheme of 8 questions you should ask yourself when crafting a major character choice. This will ensure the choices your character makes are really difficult, philosophically relevant, and move the story forward. First, we'll go through this 8-question character choice scheme explaining the importance of each component. Secondly, we will go through case studies of strong character choices in movies that have pulled off the scheme with strong results. Finally, we'll revise. And if you're interested in writing your great screenplay with the top development team, click the link below this video to work with us. Let's begin. A character choice should be a key decision taken by a character prompted by an unfamiliar situation that forces the character to select between 2 mutually exclusive options that have a similar level of pros and cons, and that each hold philosophical weight. We can break these elements into a list of 8 questions you should ask yourself when creating a key character choice. Let's break those down. Number 1. What is a new, unfamiliar situation that forces my protagonist to make a belief-challenging choice? Just like real-life humans, characters are resistant to making big decisions. Therefore, for choices to be made, the character must be met by situations and dilemmas that force them to select one of 2 alternatives. Looking at Dan Harmon's story circle, this choice moment can usually happen in 2 places. Firstly, it can happen on number 3. The character is met by an unfamiliar situation. Secondly, it can happen between numbers 5 and 6. After the character adapts to their unfamiliar situation, they can be met by yet another choice. This choice is connected to what the characters want and a consequent heavy price. This connects us to 5 and 6 of the circle, which we will get to later. Number 2. What are 2 beliefs that my protagonist can choose from? A choice should be based on philosophical conflict. A choice should not be merely about 2 external elements. This can be safety versus freedom, expression versus repression, nature versus progress, etc. Belief A and belief B. Number 3. How are these 2 beliefs externalized through 2 concrete and opposing options? After we are clear about the 2 beliefs in play at the choice, we need to make them concrete. Option A and option B. Number 4. What are the pros and cons of each option from which my protagonist can choose? This is a crucial point that can make or break your character choice. In Anatomy of a Story, John Truby writes, "A lot of writers make the mistake of giving their hero a fake choice. A fake choice is between a positive and a negative. For example, you may force your hero between going to prison or winning the girl. The outcome is obvious. We want to ensure both options have a clear set of pros and cons. The bigger and the more similar the pros and cons are to the 2 options, the harder the choice will be." Number 5. Out of option A and option B, which one does my protagonist select? This might sound simple, but it's an important point to highlight. The 2 options should be mutually exclusive. Your character cannot pick option A as well as option B. They can only choose one. That's what makes a choice a choice. Make it clear to the audience which one the character chose. Now let's look at the questions regarding the story after the choice. Number 6. After the choice is made, what does my protagonist get? We return to the story circle. When the story occurs at the 5 and 6, the option chosen by your character has 2 consequences. First, it rewards them by getting them what they want, or moving them a step closer to achieving it. This is the reason they chose said option. Number 7. Once the choice is made, what does my protagonist pay for it? However, their choice must come with a price. This is important. Your character cannot have their cake and eat it too. An easy way to think about this is, think of the pro of the option chosen being the get. Think of the con of the option chosen being the pay. Number 8. Where does my protagonist stand in terms of their beliefs now? Your choice must have challenged your protagonist's beliefs. This either makes them evaluate what they believed in and change it, or makes them reaffirm what they already held as true. Ideally, your story should be a series of choices that challenges your character's beliefs and moves the character arc forward. This is a great concept that goes hand in hand with the pinch point video featured on the channel. Now, we will apply this theory to existing movies. Let's take a look at the movie example that excels at this theory. Let's look at the beginning of the 3rd act of Spider-Man Homecoming. In the movie, Peter Parker attempts to prove himself as a real Avenger by taking down a new villain called the Vulture, who aims to wreak havoc by using alien technology. Peter must juggle the pressures of attempting to track down who the Vulture is, while at the same time pursuing his high school crush, Liz. After failing to locate the Vulture, Peter is forced to stop his attempts at becoming an Avenger. He is forced to settle down and pursue a normal life as a teenager. Crushed, Peter accepts his fate and takes Liz out to the homecoming dance. What is the new unfamiliar situation that forces my protagonist to make a belief-challenging choice? The third act of Spider-Man Homecoming introduces a brilliant twist that serves as an unfamiliar situation for a character-defining choice.
He must be Peter.
Yeah.
I'm Liz's dad.
It turns out that Liz's father is the Vulture. Peter has been dating the daughter of the supervillain he's been trying to defeat all along. Peter has finally located the guy he must take down. This introduces us to a great unfamiliar situation. What are the two beliefs that my protagonist must choose from? Belief A. The belief of the importance of personal relationships and the desire to protect one's personal life. Belief B. There are bigger duties than one's personal life, and we should put others before ourselves. How are these two beliefs externalized? Through two concrete and opposing options. Option A. Peter prioritizes his relationship with Liz and goes to the dance with her, as he has always wanted. Option B. Prioritize his duty as Spider-Man and leave Liz behind to stop the Vulture and save the city. What are the pros and cons of each option from which my protagonist can choose? Option A. Pro. Peter can be with Liz, the girl of his dreams. Con. Peter fails to fulfill his duty as Spider-Man, and the city is at risk. Hundreds of people could die. Option B. Pro. Peter lives up to his duty as Spider-Man and saves the city. If he succeeds, he might become a new Avenger, the goal he'd always had. Con. If Peter bails on Liz after having agreed to take her, Peter's relationship with Liz might be over. Out of option A and option B, which one does my protagonist select?
Gotta go. I'm sorry. You don't deserve this.
He prioritizes his duty as Spider-Man. Peter deserts Liz in the middle of the dance floor and runs to stop the Vulture. Once the choice is made, what does my protagonist get? By ditching Liz, Peter is able to take himself by his bootstraps and finds a way to defeat the Vulture. He takes the Vulture down and saves the city. Peter returns home and is forgiven by Tony Stark, and his suit is returned. Once the choice is made, what does my protagonist pay for it?
That, was a pretty crappy thing to do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, your dad, I can't imagine what you're going through. If there's anything I can do to help.
I guess we're moving to Oregon. Mom says it's nice there, so that's cool. Anyways, Dad doesn't want us here during the trial, so.
Liz,
Hi, Peter. Whatever's going on with you, I hope you figure it out.
Liz breaks up with Peter. His actions to embrace his role as Spider-Man have directly impacted his relationship with Liz. Peter's decisions have caused Liz to end her relationship with him and move away from New York. Peter has lost his girlfriend forever. Where does my protagonist stand in terms of their beliefs now? Peter recognizes that, while his duty as Spider-Man is important, being a hero requires tough sacrifices. He matures to realize that being a hero is more than just zip-zapping with his web around town, and that his actions have real consequences to the people around him. When offered to be a full-time Avenger, Peter turns it down.
thank you, Mrs. Stark. But I'm good.
This is something Peter would never have done at the start of the story. It was only through his choices and both positive and negative consequences of those choices that Peter changed his beliefs. Case study, The Shawshank Redemption. Let's look at another good example of character choice and see how it pairs up with the scheme we presented. Let's look at the final choice Andy makes in The Shawshank Redemption. Andy Dufresne is sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms in prison for the murders of his wife and her lover, a crime he did not commit. Andy befriends fellow inmate Red And through determination and ingenuity, he can gain respect from his fellow inmates while facing the harsh and brutal realities of prison life. What is a new unfamiliar situation that forces my protagonist to make a belief-challenging choice? The murder of Tommy by the warden. Tommy's knowledge of the man who killed Andy's wife was the only hope of leaving Shawshank and clearing his name. Once Tommy is executed, Andy is thrown into solitary confinement. After he is out of solitary, Andy has sunk into his lowest point with no clue where to go next. What are the two beliefs that my protagonist can choose from? Belief A, despair. Belief B, hope. How are these two beliefs externalized through two concrete and opposing options? Option A, letting Tommy's death destroy his hope and doubting his ability to live outside of Shawshank. Option B, staying strong and persevering through this setback and finding a way out of Shawshank. What are the pros and cons of each option from which my protagonist has to choose from? Option A, pro. Andy realizes he will never see the outside world again and continues to educate the inmates and do what he can to keep his mind busy. Con. Andy will never get to live a normal life again and will suffer for the crime he never committed. Option B, pro. Andy never gives up hope and escapes Shawshank. Con. If he fails an escape, he will most likely die. And if he keeps his hope and never escapes, he will waste the rest of his life on a pipe dream. Out of option A and option B, which one does my protagonist select?
Andy crawled to freedom through 500 yards of shit-smelling foulness I can't even imagine.
Andy chooses hope. It is revealed that Andy has been tunneling his way out of Shawshank for the last 19 years. Once the choice is made, what does my protagonist get? Andy finally gets the freedom he's been hoping for the last 19 years. Andy's choice to embrace hope has finally paid off and convinces Red to change his position from despair to hope. Number 7. Once the choice is made, what does my protagonist pay for it? The process of tunneling through the walls and sewage is grueling and dangerous, and it takes a significant toll on his health and well-being. Another price he pays is the emotional toll of living with the knowledge that he will likely never be able to clear his name, and that he will always be seen as a convicted murderer by society. He also has to abandon his friend Red and the other inmates, which is a very hard decision for him. Number 8. Where does my protagonist stand in terms of their beliefs now? Andy sees that while his odds of escaping Shawshank were low from the start, nothing will stop him from living his life from now on.
Get busy living, or get busy dying. That's goddamn right.
Now let's bring it all together. Today you learned how to bulletproof the choices your characters make so they challenge their beliefs in a meaningful way. A character choice should be a key decision taken by a character prompted by an unfamiliar situation that forces the character to select between two mutually exclusive options that have a similar level of pros and cons, and that each hold philosophical weight. You can achieve this through the following 8 questions. Number 1. What is a new, unfamiliar situation that forces my protagonist to make a belief-challenging choice? Number 2. What are the 2 beliefs that my protagonist can choose from? Number 3. What are these 2 beliefs externalized through 2 concrete and opposing options? Number 4. What are the pros and cons of each option from which my protagonist can choose? Number 5. Out of option A and option B, which one does my protagonist select? Number 6. Once the choice is made, what does my protagonist get? Number 7. Once the choice is made, what does my protagonist pay for it? Number 8. Where does my protagonist stand in terms of their beliefs now? You can find a copy of this scheme in one of the links below to apply to your own story. In a future video, we will look at movies with character choices that fail and how we can use this character choice scheme to fix them. And if you're interested in writing your great screenplay with the top development team, click the link below this video to work with us.